So what exactly happens in the life of field biologist or conservationist if you restrict yourself to academia? So basically, let's say you have a hypothesis. So let's the hypothesis is the 5-year study of the autumn food harvest of Asiatic black bear in Asian nut production. So you can imagine the amount of correlation in the various variables here. So nut production is actually affecting the behavioral and dietary habits of black bears. So let's say you have a hypothesis, you know you have some empirical data, then you establish a time frame, and then you carry out studies, numerical studies to back up your data, and then you publish your finding. I'll just cover one thing, and I will tie this to the question that was asked by someone. Sorry, I forgot the name. How does IUCN actually classify animals? Okay. So I will look at, I'll consider I wanted to highlight this is the birding report for India, which was published last year. It's a one of a kind report in that it actually depended on data from eBird. eBird is an online data source where bird sightings had been put by not scientists but by birders like us, people like us, civilians, or citizen scientists, as we call them now. This just goes to show how impactful that even we can be in our efforts towards conservation right now. So what this study did for the first time, it actually looked at the birding population, the growth in bird population in India for the last 10 years. It looked at that entire database from eBird, looked at the frequency of logging findings. For example, if I see let's say 10 pigeons here and two scaly-breasted munia and log them onto eBird, they will be factored in and the findings with some sort of parameters, some sort of factors weighed in order to normalize the findings. So you will soon come across these terms when you go into statistics, etc., when you find your hypothesis, evaluation, etc. But this is one of the ways it was done. So what is studied, it actually analyzed the population, how it has trended. It looked at the factors which will affect this population, like habitat loss, change in behavior, and then it actually came to some findings. So, okay, this species actually had a population of 10,000. Let's say, for example, in the last 10 years, we are at 2020. Then when this was published, this population is now at, let's say, 8,500. And based on the trend, we see a decline. So these data factors, when they come into consideration, these actually are used to bucketize creatures into endangered, least concern, extinct, critically endangered, etc. So let's say if I see something like the urban rock pigeon, we see that the urban rock pigeon, the populations have increased manifold in the last 10 years. They're one of the few species which have adapted itself really well to the rise in cities in India and across the world, in fact. And we can say, okay, pigeon would be least concern. Then we take up some animal, some bird, which has recently, I think as recently as yesterday, the day before, has recently been pushed by the IUCN into the list of endangered animals, which is a mountain hawk eagle, which is found in Himalayan foothills. Very pretty bird, very, very glorious raptor. That needs long, tall trees for its perch, is found in densely wooded forests, and those forests are under threat of uh, destruction, I mean, under threat due to development activities in those regions. Hence, that bird is endangered now because of habitat loss. So based on the trend of the bird population, then IUCN classified, okay, now this bird will probably, unless we put in drastic methods, we contain the habitat loss affecting this bird, we will lose this population. We will see a sharp decline in its population. Hence, this is a threatened, near threatened, or endangered population. This is how it is done. I hope that answers the question. So this slide, I just want to touch upon a few things. I mean, just to show how exciting the field of conservation is. Just to talk about something called bioacoustics, which is an up and coming field in conservation. So this actually one of the key findings from this was that, the thing about whale song, right? That scientists actually listen to whale song, they analyze the frequencies, they are able to decipher how humpback whales communities communicate to each other. So through this, scientists were actually able to find out, and these are actually signatures. So each population of whales, each population of cetaceans or marine mammals have their own way of communicating. Clicks, whistles, the songs or particular pitch, frequency. You can break them down into pure numbers and analyze them. So that field is called bioacoustics, not limited to whale song alone. You can actually look at sound from an ecosystem, like the frog songs, the way frogs croak in an ecosystem, in a forest. Even that can be part of bioacoustics. So this was used by scientists until recently to find out there was a population of blue whales that did not know existed. And imagine we're talking about the largest animal on Earth. So we're talking about an entire population of blue whales, which is different from any other blue whale that you know, a particular extant subspecies which existed, which scientists had no idea about, and they found out about this through bioacoustics. And bioacoustics is an up and coming field because applications of these are, we are just beginning to come across the manifold application of this. One of the more exciting projects that I know of, which is being done by the Center for Wildlife Studies in India, is that human animal conflict is a big problem, something that we must stop, or rather tackle, in order to let both communities flourish, communities which exist on the fringes of the forest and animals which populate those forests. And within that problem, the subset, elephant animal conflicts are becoming very, very, very critical. Elephant animal conflicts lead to damages to properties of people, they lead to deaths of people, lead to death of elephants. And one of the ways I think the project is exploring is that using bioacoustics to warn villages of impending elephants coming to their fields. So before the elephants can just parade through their crops, they can probably come in and through ethical, appointed mitigation measures such as loud noise, etc., ward the herd of elephants away. So it's a very open field, it's an up and coming field, and this is just one of the applications of it. Again, these are some of the questions that have come up. These are conservation questions. So conservation and controversy run hand in hand. I mean, as you would have understood from the last slide or the discussion that we are right now having, um, I mean, radical steps of conservation will always invite controversy. You take up the current steps to preserve the Aarey colony in Mumbai, or the campaigns against the building of the uh, or actually evening out the tidal area near in Mumbai. So all of those have been getting their fair share of controversy, and the ones that have been mentioned here are a few famous ones. So cheetahs used to exist in the subcontinent, um, and they were hunted to extinction. Very, very sad reality, but it was true. Um, so there is a plan afoot of introducing cheetahs back into India. I think Indian government had they had identified a few areas for that, and that plan has not gone down well with scientists or conservationists. Though on its surface it seems like okay, it's fine. Why can we not do that? We have several examples in the past to know that it might not work. We have tried reintroducing tigers from here to South Africa, a program which was followed closely by Nat Geo, which was covered in order to see how they would take to it, and that did not work well. So these problems have their own complications, and scientists and working field biologists have their best views to weigh on the matter. Same for the Great Indian Bustard. Bustards are a group of very, very glorious creatures. Uh, the floricans are a part of that group. found across subcontinent. In fact, they are found. Some of the bustards are found in McQueen's bustard and found in Pakistan too. And in fact, Salim Ali, the father of Indian ornithology, wanted the Great Indian Bustard to be the national animal. It was not chosen because of the unfortunate association with the name, as you can see. But now yes, that is actually a concern. I'm not kidding. That was a concern. Um, yes, and we must always be aware of the national symbols, the dignity they carry, right? Hence, it was not done. So the one of the problems that we are facing is that the habitat where the great Indian bustard lives is a very tricky habitat. It's scrubland, and we are on very, very thin ground regarding it, thin ice regarding it, because we cannot extend the grassland. We cannot go and reforest it, and we cannot let further desertification affect it. And the number of wild great Indian busters are very few. They are prone to They're susceptible to, again, the local feral dogs have been preying on the Greenland bustard population. They have been hunting them. They have run into deaths by crashing against cables from electricity transmission cables. So the proposal was, can we breed them in captivity and then release them in the wild in order to prevent their extinction? And that again has invited its own share of controversy. So it's still an ongoing thing. Same for the Asiatic lion, the last stronghold of lion in Asia beyond Africa. So interesting thing, folks. I don't know if you know. So tiger came into subcontinent much later. So if you read the accounts of hunting accounts of British when they were in India, so they used to refer to a lion called a Hurrian lion. This was in the undivided subcontinent, the Hurrian lion, which was probably reference to the region which is now known as Haryana in India. They used to actually be there in the western Indo-Gangetic plain, in the plain along the Indus. That would be the kind of dry, scrubby vegetation which is found in, let's say, Gir at the current state. And that area used to go into Pakistan, India, and the people used to hunt Hurrian lion over there. So tigers were not there. Tigers came into much later. They came in probably via the Myanmar route, and then they pushed the existing lion population into the last portion that we know today. And the problem with these populations, when you have population only one cluster, they are only one living population holed up in one area, is that the genetic diversity reduces, right? Because there are no corridors. One lion from here cannot go and mingle with another lion, let's say in Madhya Pradesh. That cannot happen. And hence they become prone to diseases. Hence, Gir is actually a ticking time bomb. A few years back, an epidemic had actually broken out in Gir, where a number of lions were dying, and the scientists had to step in. They had to take drastic measures to stop. They had to find out what was creating that. They had to go in and stop the progress of the disease, because that would have led to decimation of half the population of the Asiatic lions if that was left unchecked. If we had just let natural means control the spread of the epidemic. Same for Project Dolphin. Again, the reverse and subcontinent, which applies for the Indus dolphin as well. The dolphin subcontinent are the last strongholds of freshwater dolphins in the world. The Yangtze dolphin, which is in China, is almost extinct. This leaves the new species of dolphin plus the dolphin which is found in Amazon. Hence, in India, we have the Indo-Gangetic dolphin and the Indus River dolphin. These are there in the subcontinent, and we're not sure what it takes to actually preserve them. You're still finding out ways. So these are some of the things that we wanted to touch upon quickly.